Hi there, welcome.
Sorry, that's the...
We're just talking about the location of the garden.
That's Courtney Baines Smith. She's a recipient of the Creating a Healthy, Just, and Sustainable Society research grant from Appalachian State University, and I'm here observing the initial meetings to learn what the grant is all about. Courtney, along with the volunteer students from the Sustainability and Environmental Education Club at App State, are building a garden at the ASU Child Development Center in Boone, North Carolina. While talking with the volunteers, I noticed two kids running around the yard, helping Courtney measure garden plots and playing in the leftover snow from a few days before. They took a break to talk to me.
Do you go to this school?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Cool. Do you guys know what we're doing?
Yeah, planting garden.
Have you ever planted a garden before?
I think the best place is right over there.
What's over there?
A big field.
Maybe that doesn't.
And that's where the sun is. That's where the trees are all cleared out.
Yeah, so it's a good spot because the sun can get to the garden.
Yeah. And it can go right down there.
These kids were experienced gardeners, and they even told me of some of the trials they'd faced in the past with personal gardens.
Right down there.
Have you ever made a garden before?
Yeah, I've made one in my
Yeah, we have
one
two.
at our house.
Two gardens?
Yeah, we have two. But the angle is 20. One in the backyard and one in the front yard. But the other garden, but the back garden died.
Gardening can be tough work, and many of the volunteers also had experienced the difficulties of gardening throughout their childhood. I spoke with volunteer Daniel Jackson about memories of fighting the rocks in his grandfather's garden.
I grew up gardening my parents' garden, all my grandparents' garden, all my aunts and uncles' garden. So we were all involved with gardening. We put back and can our food. And probably one of the funniest things, every year my grandpa, we'd go and we'd have to get all the rocks out of the garden after he tilled it. Rocks just grow in a garden. Like, they just come out of nowhere. I remember one day we were just going through the garden and my cousin Brandon just picked up a rock and he wound up chucking it, and my grandpa, he's just going on the tiller and it just hit him in the back of the head. And then he had to run us down and whoop us for throwing rocks and not throwing them out of the garden. But
Volunteer Morgan Ipock also remembers the hard work of helping her mom in the garden as a child.
My mom has a huge green thumb, so she was always growing stuff for us. Blueberries are her favorite, so we always have blueberries at my house. And personally, I hated it. Wilmington is hot, and I hated having to help my mom in the garden.
So if gardening is such hard work, why are all of these people volunteering their time to build a garden for some pre-K kids with no return for themselves? I asked the volunteers to share with me why they find this project to be so important.
I think that it's never too early to start teaching a kid about sustainability and how humans interact with the world around them. I mean, that's why we're here,
It's so important, especially today, for kids to know where their food comes from. We all buy our food from grocery stores, and there's a huge disconnect with where your food comes from. So I thought it was a really cool opportunity to get completely involved in the community, with little kids in the community.
Gardening is a great way for kids to get outside and become familiar with their environment.
But it's a really good way to teach kids about the value of work and things like that. But it can be a lot of fun.
Seeing small-scale projects like this go on instead of, say, an industrial farm going down the road, I think that's really cool.
I really wanted to get involved with this garden because it was just a way to give back to the community.
Right now, the project is just in the beginning phases, but by the end of May, they'll have pizza gardens, a water catchment system, a worm compost bin, and a waffle garden. If you'd like to donate to the project or learn more about its progress, you can contact Courtney Baines at BAINESCP@appstate.edu.
And it's like Papa always says, homegrown tomato tastes better than the rest.
Music for this program was provided by Kevin MacLeod from Royalty Free Music and Brian Wild of